Hey guys, I'm at the Haas School of Business at UC Berkeley today with some of my friends, and I'm interviewing a lot of my Haas classmates about their advice for the upcoming application season. Hopefully you find it helpful, and let's get to it.
Yeah!
Hi, can you introduce yourself to the audience?
I'm Kyle Millis. I'm a senior in the Haas School of Business, and I'm studying business and administration with a focus in finance.
Hi everyone, I'm Lucy. I'm a junior studying business and data science.
My name is Jeffrey. I am a senior. I study business administration and economics.
I'm Angelina. I'm a junior studying business, econ, and minor in art history.
My name is Danielson Sipper. I am a fourth year studying business administration here at Berkeley Haas. I transferred to UC Berkeley in fall of 2020.
Yeah, and the first question is, what do you think are like the biggest factors that got you into the Haas program?
I'd say some big factors is definitely the essay portion. I think the essay portion is weighted a little more, just personally, because everyone can have good grades, everyone can have great extracurriculars, but really what sets you apart is, what your story is. And so I think that what got me into the business school was telling a good story and branding myself.
I think one of the most successful things for me was getting the help of a writing tutor. I'm not the strongest writer personally, and I think that Haas actually takes into account heavily the writing portion of the essay. They do say that 50% of it is based off grades, but I honestly think that 50% of it is based off the writing application.
I think on top of being involved, I was rather vulnerable in my essays and showed my true self and my personality. So I think that was an aspect that helped me show the admissions people who I am.
I think the biggest factors that got me into Haas program are the personal statements as well as the consistency of my application.
So can you talk about what you wrote about when you were applying to Haas in your essays?
So since I'm a Taiwanese American, I really use that as my brand. And since Taiwan right now is kind of a country full of conflicts on the international stage, I wrote about how important it is to spread awareness of the culture. And additionally, on the business sense, I did a volunteer program in Taiwan where I taught English to elementary school students. And so I connected that to business by saying that we needed to market more, adequate and more innovative teaching tactics towards these students.
I started a small business my freshman year about social entrepreneurship and giving back to the local Oakland and Berkeley community, and that was one of the topics that I wrote about. And then the other one was my close friend Danny and I and our kind of friendship. We talked about how we overcame challenges together.
In my essay, Why Haas, I talked about my passion for art and business, and I talked about my goal that I want to start an art incubator.
On the creative prompt, it asks you, what is your creative side? And I talked about cooking. I love to cook, and it's one of my my outlets for stress and, enjoyment. So I talked about how, when I was young, I struggled with weight gain, and I kind of turned myself around by learning how to cook healthy food. Mm-hmm. And back in community college, I started a meal prep delivery business.
Oh, that's
and
so cool.
I used my,
Nice.
I used my love for cooking and made it into a profitable business. So it's stuff like that, you want to tell a story, and the story is very important. But at the same time, if you are applying to Haas, you got to show them that you have problem-solving skills, you're critical, and you have that business acumen.
What is definitely something that you shouldn't write in your essays?
Yeah, I think definitely just being I want to go down this career. I think write about the career path you want to be on, but also the impact that you want to have on the world. So definitely do not ignore the pillars of the Haas School of Business, and be able to connect yourself with the impact that you want to have on the world.
So I don't know if there's something specific you shouldn't write about, but I think when you write your essays, make sure you have that brand and make sure you have a very good story. You want to make sure that the reader, when they read your essay, they know all about you from the get-go, and they really know your motivations of why you want to do business, and be very specific on why you want to do it.
I'm an athlete, right? And I know that a lot of athletes that apply, they write both of their essays about the same thing, and that being athletics. So don't basically reference your other essay and your other essay, I guess. You know what I mean?
Okay, that's good advice. Because I definitely want to see multiple perspectives of you.
I think try to avoid very general and stereotypical comments.
What do you think could be some of those stereotypes people usually fall into the trap of writing about?
A lot of people would write about, I guess, the typical business career, such as consulting or investment banking.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that these are not great career to pursue. I think you could definitely make a great story out of it.
Yeah. So I can't really answer what not to write. There's a couple of like glaring red flags. Like, don't write about the time that you cheated or if you made mistakes. Don't like bring it out in the open, but have it be very intimate. Talk about yourself and make sure you tell a story.
In terms of your involvement, like what sorts of extracurriculars were you a part of?
Like consulting organizations on Berkeley. I was also very involved in Berkeley's TASA, which is Taiwanese American Student Association.
I am very interested in art, so I have been committed in activities related to art, such as volunteering for a nonprofit art museum. Yeah, so I think that time commitment really, I guess, shows the consistency of my application.
So I was part of the Berkeley Forum, which we invite guest speakers to come on campus and speak. And also I met Lillian through Microfinance at Berkeley, where we do consulting for small businesses and microloans. And I was also in Berkeley Women in Business, which is more so an empowering network of girl bosses. Yes, girl boss, gatekeep, gaslight. But I really enjoyed getting to know people in my clubs and doing the works.
So how much do you think grades matter?
In my opinion, not as much as you would think. In all honesty, I ended up getting a C in one of my classes, and I still managed to get in the business school, and I genuinely think that is because of my essays. However, you can also write supplemental essays explaining your grades.
Personally, I think grades, they are important still. You should still aim to get good grades, but I actually feel like the driving factor of your application is the essays. And they really want to know your story, and that's something they can't tell just by looking at your grades. And so I think grades is weighted a little more than you would think, personally.
I don't think they matter as much as people think they do. I got a B+ and usually a 10 if that soothes anybody's brain. I know people who've gotten C's in Math 1B and they've been fine and been able to get in. But I think they do matter to a certain extent, but don't let it deter you from applying. You never know what can happen.
Lastly, if you can give one piece of advice, what would that be?
I think that you can plan ahead by planning what classes you're going to take as an incoming freshman, planning out so you make sure you have a structured class schedule, plan ahead for your essays. You can plan ahead based off prior years. Haas generally repeats the essays year to year, and then also plan ahead of things that you're going to be putting on your resume and stuff like that.
I'd say be genuine, genuinely write, why you want to be in the business school. Don't write something that you aren't. Really tell your story, because I feel like they can really see through that if your extracurriculars don't align with your essay, or if what you're trying to deliver doesn't match your character. So just be very genuine, and that should work out.
With each essay, with each prompt, ask yourself, how do I put myself on this paper, right? How do I tell my story? How do I answer this in a way that no one would answer this question?
Really just don't stress out too much about application. Show your uniqueness and be genuine, show consistency. Let yourself, let your personality shine through.
Keep reiterating this. Tell your story. Really take the time. Plan early. Work on those applications months in advance.
I think definitely tying in the pillars to your essays is really important. So definitely get to know those pillars and apply them and weave them into the first and second essay, and be yourself and be cool. I don't know. Be cool.
So before we end the video, I also want to touch on not putting your worth in these sort of application processes. It's totally fine if things don't turn out the way you want to, because things definitely happen for a reason, and what you do after college definitely depends on your own effort and not necessarily a college degree. So I'll just keep that in mind as you're going through this, and best of luck.